Okay. Let me end the broadcast. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Walaikum salam. Yes, we
Walaikum
can.
salam. Walaikum
Can
salam.
you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, but was the presentation clear on the live?
Yes,
Okay,
very clear.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Okay, good, Alhamdulillah. Now I'm ready for your questions if you want.
Okay, so we'll pass the time now to the audience. So if you have questions, you can ask. So far, just a quick recap. Sheikh Fadel Soliman has introduced the 4 programs after the match 1, after the match 2, Save the Turtles, and he also has introduced the program, which is today's topic, on the rescue of the 2 princesses. And are there any questions in relation to any of the 4? Let's not just confine it to one, but if any of the 4, please feel free to ask.
I would like to ask.
Assalamu
alaikum. I would like to ask. Is it a game by individual or by a group of people to play the game? Is it an individual game?
Individual. Every child will play alone, yes. But some of these games are set in a certain way that at the end of the game, he sees something called the winner list, and he sees that he is number 24. His score is number 24 worldwide, and the best 5 are so and so and so. This from Canada, this from Beirut, this from Cairo, this from so on, so that he can play again to enhance his score, and that's what we want. Because if the kids play these games once and twice and thrice, that's the best, because like that you are engraving in the hearts and minds these principles.
Okay. Normally, how long will it take to complete one game? For example, the game. How long normally?
A child can play it
15 minutes?
in a day. No. It can take a few days. These are games that have for example, the first game is a 15 levels game.
I see.
And there are 16 videos in it. Some videos are 3 minutes long, some videos are 5 minutes long, and there are questions and answers. We don't want kids to rush. If the teacher can open the interactive course and finish it on 16 classes, that's good. That's what we want. Because every topic, it's true that the video is short. Maybe some videos are 8 minutes, by the way, and 7 minutes. And some are 2 or 3 minutes. But I want the teacher to also be prepared. That's why we have a lecture about that video for the teacher, telling him the talking points, what he needs to raise with the children after watching the video. And then they look at the multiple choice questions and answers, and they discuss together which answer must be the right one. And sometimes our message is not in the right answer, it is in the wrong answer. Because the kid has to put wrong on this. And then, so sometimes when he puts wrong on, for example, do you believe that Eiffel Tower in Paris could have existed without an engineer building it? There is, yes, it could have existed by coincidence. The child has to choose wrong on this answer. And if he doesn't choose wrong, the game is not going to continue. So like that, you are engraving in him that there is nothing by coincidence. Understanding? So sometimes our message is not directly appearing for people.
Thank you, Sheikh Fadel Soliman. And
you're welcome.
Good questions by Mr. Ma. And Sheikh Fadel Soliman, I have some questions to ask. Currently, is the Rescue of the Two Princesses, it's also in English, am I right? Because I heard in Arabic.
Yes. No, yes,
it's in English as
English.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In English, yes.
Good. And
everything we do is in English and Arabic, mainly.
Okay. Yeah.
The Rescue of the Two Princesses now is in French as well, and Italian very soon.
Very good. Very good. I was just going to say that if possible, we can even outreach to other countries by adding more languages, inshallah.
Yeah. It's just our resources are a little bit tight, but I wish we can.
Inshallah. Any other questions?
What is the target?
Yes.
What is the target age group? For example, you have mentioned about 7, 8, 9, 10. About what is
up to 17. Up to 17. The problem is some kids who are like over 16 and 17, they find it a bit embarrassing to watch a 13-year-old kid speaking. Yeah, so that, but many of them also, they listen. They don't have a problem listening, especially that the topics are very very interesting for them. I want to tell you something, actually. Last year, I got two priests from the Church of England, and they visited me here. And they said, you have to understand that we were the first to subscribe to this program. I told them, I know. I have seen the email. So I've seen the subscriber emails to understand the Church of England. They said it's an amazing project. And let's be frank, we are copying it. But there is something in the know-how that we don't know how you did it. I said, what? He said, when we taught children to say these, concepts, they appeared like they are just, saying something that they don't understand, that something they just memorize, like they are just reading, but not with the tone of someone who understands this. But your children understand what they are saying. Listen to the tone of them when they speak. They know they understand everything. How did you train them to do that? I gave them the know-how, because I would rather my children live with Christians than live with atheists. Actually, I have no problem. I want them to also combat atheism, by the way, in their church. And I told them how I did that. I got children who know how to imitate me, and they imitate well. And every single phrase they say, they are just repeating it after me in my same tone. And if I don't like the tone, I make them repeat it again. And then in the editing, we cut, and I choose the best. So actually, it is me speaking, but through the children. Actually, if you want, we can even like turn on one of the videos now, and you see how they speak. I think you have seen that in Save the Turtles and stuff like that. The children speak in a way that they understand, because actually they're imitating me. It's hard to teach two children in a couple of days all these concepts. So there are issues that are like the DNA and stuff like that. The most challenging was the problem of the atheist teacher. We had a lot of problems, like actually it was in the German school in Egypt, where the children loved chemistry after a German teacher was brought to their school from Germany. He is young, very inspiring. He explains chemistry nicely. The children loved chemistry because of him. And he became like a role model for them. And then they approached him and they said, are you Christian or Jew or what? He said, I believe in science. And that was like a knife in the hearts of the children. Many of them were like, oh, so you don't have to be to follow a religion? No, I just believe in science. Here we dealt with this in one of the videos, actually, where Yusuf told Ahmed, our chemistry teacher yesterday spoke about football in a very strange manner. He mentioned players that stopped playing a long time ago. He mentioned the teams that are not in the first league anymore. He said, and what is he teaching? He said, he's a chemistry teacher who made us love chemistry. He said, fine, then take from him chemistry. Do you go to a doctor and ask him legal advice? He said, no, I should go to a lawyer. He said, exactly. So a chemistry teacher, you take from him chemistry. As soon as he starts going off topic, not necessarily that he will say the right thing. If he speaks about football, not necessarily he will speak right. If he speaks about religion, not necessarily that he will speak right. Like that, you kept the respect of the teacher in the hearts of the children, but at the same time, you made them have a critical mindset that not everything that the teacher will say, I will just swallow. I'm sorry. And this is what can actually protect our children from all the ideologies these days, like LGBT ideology and all these things, by having them have a critical mindset. Why are schools now in Canada telling every boy that he may not be a boy and every girl that she may not be a girl? Excuse me, why don't you just leave girls be girls and boys be boys? Why are you confusing? So we are telling the children, think critically. What are they benefiting from? So like that, the children will be getting ready. And by the way, that's the game that they played against us, to make our children critical about Islam. We are doing this to them now. We have to protect our children with this critical mindset and show the children that Islam itself makes them think critically. Islam encourages the Muslim to be objective. Yeah, for example, Allah told us, the Prophet Muhammad told us to recite Surah Al-Kahf every single week. Why? For the barakah in it? No, excuse me. All of the Quran is barakah. If the reason is for the barakah, then Allah could have told us, or Prophet Muhammad could have told us, to read any surah every week. But when he specified Al-Kahf, then definitely there are meanings that should be renewed in the heart and mind of the Muslim at least once a week. One of them is this, objective thinking. The people who slept in the cave, the young people, said what? هؤلاء قوم اتخذوا من دونه آلهة لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين. Here are our people. They took other gods besides Allah. If they just had evidence, what does that mean? The Quran is telling the Muslim, if you find evidence that there is another God with Allah, go ahead, worship him. But there is no evidence. So the Quran is telling the Muslim to follow the evidence. So when I show, for example, Prophet Muhammad is entering into a debate against the Christians of Najran. And Allah before it tells him in the Quran, قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ لِلرَّحْمَنِ وَلَدٌ فَأَنَا أَوَّلُ الْعَابِدِينَ. Say, if the Rahman really had a son, I'll be the first one to worship him. What does that mean? It means Islam, the Quran is telling the Muslim, if Christianity is proven right, go ahead and embrace it. This shows the strength of Islam, and at the same time, we show the children that Islam is not afraid to make them think critically, because Islam has no flaws. It's flawless. And if you see any flaws within Islam, then definitely the flaw is here. You need to find the right answer. Like that. And mainly, all what I'm telling you are in the messages of the children when they talk in front of your children in the videos. So these two children, Ahmed and Yusuf, are saying these things all the time. I'll tell you one more thing. One of the causes of atheism is sarcasm. The sarcastic tone of atheists from religious people. And our children, especially in the early teens, like 12, 13, 14, they don't like to be members of a group that people are sarcastic about. So what do? We turn the table on them. You in Save the Turtles videos, in 2 or 3 videos, you will sense a very light tone of sarcasm as well. Our children are sarcastic about people who think that the pyramids could have come alone without pharaohs building them. That's in the Quran. The Quran said, Prophet Noah said, إن تسخروا منا فإنا نسخر منكم كما تسخرون. If you are sarcastic about us, we are sarcastic about you, like you are sarcastic about us. Like that. So actually, these things were all embedded by child psychiatrists. because these root causes of atheism mainly are psychological. Mainly they are all psychological. But the only root cause that we could not deal with is the root cause of the missing father syndrome, or the corrupt father syndrome. And this is something that I talk about in our lecture to the parents. This is the role of the parent. Every parent should spend 1 to 2 hours every day quality time with his or her children. Mainly the father should spend an hour at least playing, not teaching, not preaching, not advising, just a child playing with his children. When Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was on his knees, putting 2 children on his back, Al-Hasan and Al-Hussein, he wasn't wasting his time. He was doing that, spending quality time. Because al-mar'u ala dini khalilih, as he said, every person follows the religion of his intimate friend. Be the intimate friend of your children, not someone else. So this is mainly our advice for parents. Yani, leave your mobile phones and sit with your children and play with your children. Yeah.
Thank you, Sheikh, for this
Okay,
very valuable insight. Be the friends of your kids and spend quality time with them. Very, very important.
Yeah. Would you like me to tell you something else? Because actually, this is not the only area we are working on. We're not only working with atheism, we're working with another area as well, which is homosexuality.
Yes.
This saves kids from homosexuality as well. The main root cause of same-sex attraction is the corrupt father syndrome or the missing father syndrome. Can you imagine this? Strange, subhanAllah. Strange, subhanAllah. And by the way, we have a network of therapists that are working, and they are making very good results. Don't believe people who tell you that this is something that cannot be treated. No, it's not true. One of my therapists have reached 90% success rate. He's in Egypt, an Egyptian therapist. Yes. Normally, in America, for example, therapists have 46%, 48% success rate. But in the Muslim world, sometimes over 90%. Because there is more motivation for the person who has this unwanted same-sex attraction. He is motivated more to get rid of it. So he really wants to get rid of it. So it works better with him. So also this relationship of the father, mainly the father, can cause devastating, actually, issues.
Thank you, Sheikh.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the others, or any comments if you have?
Now, suppose our kids is already up to a certain teen or after teenagers. Is it too late to play the game, or still have benefits from the game?
No. Well, if the kids, and if he's like 18, 19, he probably wants the answers. He can go to the interactive course and watch the video and check the questions and see how we deal with these things. So not necessarily that he has to play the game.
I see.
Yeah. And by the way, these are messages that I have put in some of my videos. So he can just watch one of my videos. You know, I have videos about that. For example, I have a video called Why I Chose Islam. And mainly it is delivering the message of the first game after the match. Because that's the main cause of atheism. It's the dilemma of evil. How can there be a God with children cancer? Don't tell me these children smoked. They didn't smoke. These are important questions to be answered. And they are answered, for example, in one of my talks also. So they are there.
I see. Thank you.
Yep. Sheikh, for this program, the fourth one, the rescue of the two princesses, I really like the concept of elimination, the process of elimination, where you talked about how the Quran, there are many possibilities with the Quran, 4 possibilities. It could be designed by or created by a human being, created by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam heard it from someone, or copied from someone, or from Satan, or from someone else. So I really like how the process of elimination makes it very clear that it's only the word of God. So I really like this, because actually this is also how, if I could just add a personal touch, this is how I also became stronger in my faith. Even though I'm born in a Muslim family, but at a certain point, especially in the teenage age, I will have a lot of doubts. And Satan has to do his job. He has to do a lot of waswasa. And sometimes that waswasa really affects my religious identity. And subhanAllah, it was only through that process of elimination that there has to be a creator, and it has to be one, and it has to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Islam is Deenul Haq. So I really like, because it brought me back my memories of my childhood and my teenage age, how I actually had to fight through this waswasa and find out that my religious identity is that of a Muslim. So I really, really appreciate this process of elimination.
The most beautiful thing about Islam is that it is very logical, including the illogical things. One moment, even the illogical things are logical. I'll tell you how. When we speak about a cane that split the sea, or a cane that turned into a serpent, this is illogical. But in Islam, it is logical, because we don't say that Moses did that. We say that the creator of the laws of physics is the only one who can manipulate the laws of physics. So if you tell me Moses split the sea, I'll tell you that's not true. It's Allah who split the sea, and through Moses, and through the cane with Moses. So even the illogical things are logical within Islam. We don't say that any of the prophets could have done these miracles alone. Yeah, you understand me? So this is the beauty of Islam, that every question has answers. But maybe we don't know the answers. We just need to utilize our intellect and learn and so on. I'll tell you the truth also, in the last 15 years, I've been focused on the Quran, on pondering the Quran, tadabbur Quran. And during the pandemic, we in Arabi started a live program called Hadr al-Tajawul, which is the lockdown program. And in 1,010 nights, we finished the whole Quran, pondering word for word. You can't imagine, it changed the lives of, 3 years exactly. It changed our lives. It's as if like we had a treasure that we never knew about in our house. It's like someone who is bankrupt and he has lots of debts and he's about to go to jail, and he doesn't know that in his table, there is $20 million, but he doesn't know. That's exactly the Quran. The Quran can do a lot, but we didn't know that, because the way we deal with it is wrong. Memorization only, but understanding, no. Pondering, no. So we are neutralizing the most important aspects of the Quran. Pondering the Quran is very important. And now we have kids, by the way, in Istanbul on the 16th, we have a big celebration for 180 kids who are participating in our pondering the Quran for kids. When kids are pondering the Quran, it makes it different, and it changes the kids actually. But we need to know how to introduce the Quran to our kids, because first impressions last. I can't bring the kid and his first impression about the Quran is that it's a difficult book that doesn't have stories, and it's not interesting, because we focus on the 30th juz, the last juz. It doesn't have stories. And even if there are stories, the stories cannot be fathomed by the kid. The Ashab al-Ukhdud, for example. The Surah al-Buruj, where the believers were thrown in fire and they died and nothing happened to the king. What kind of message are you sending there? Oh, the kids in that age want cartoonish stories, like the man who have put parts of the birds on mountains, like chicken wings on that mountain, drumsticks on that mountain, and so on. Then he called them, they came back. That's what the kid wants. But we don't give him this until we create a complex against the Quran in him. Why? Because this is not in the last juz. Why are you focusing on the last juz? Every single day, take a different story. And there are beautiful, cartoonish stories in the Quran until you establish the love of the Quran in the minds of the kids. The kid look at it as like a book of stories. And when you teach them the ahkam al-tilawa, how to pronounce and how to recite, teach it through games. There are two games that I used to use to teach kids the pronunciation of the Quran. For example, if I teach them how to pronounce a meme or a noon that has shadda or something, the first game is that when they start reciting, I don't correct them. I make them correct each other and find out who will discover the mistakes. So like that, when someone is reciting, all the rest are having their Quran, Mus'haf in their hands, waiting for him to finish, to raise their hand like this, which means I found 2 mistakes in his recitation. Like this, I found 5 mistakes in his recitation. So they are playing, it's a game. The second game is that I tell them, I will read ayah number 12, and I will make 4 mistakes. Let me see who of you will discover the mistakes. So that's another game. As soon as I finish, this means he discovered 4. This means he discovered 1. And then I start listening to them. What did they discover? So like that, you establish the love of the Quran in their hearts. It's an interesting book, lovely book, full of stories. But when the first impression of the child is that it's a very difficult book that's not interesting and free from stories, then we will pay the price later. And by the way, the Prophet did not teach the Quran like that. So I challenge anyone who will tell me that the Prophet used to force kids to memorize the Quran. I challenge anyone to prove that to me. So we are creating a complex, and then we pay the price. I have to be true to you. I have to be frank.
Yes. Thank you, Sheikh. Thank you for speaking the truth.
Yeah. If I don't say it now, when am I going to say it?
Okay.
So you know when
yes, Mr. Ma.
We know that cartoon is attractive, but we need this professional to make the cartoon together with the Islamic, the Quranic story. So how are we going to, to integrate this?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what exactly. Okay.
Now, we know the cartoon is attractive too. A cartoon is attractive too. But for modern days, we see the cartoon, they are all about this funny story, naughty story, something like this. So how are we going to make the cartoonist to make the Quranic story? So
I have someone who's ready to do that, but this needs resources. It needs money. And we can create a lot. By the way, I have someone, he's Egyptian. He used to live in Japan. He has, I can show you some samples of what he did before, and he is ready to work, but he needs money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Raza, we can think about it.
Yes, we can think about this indeed.
If we have the suitable person to make the cartoon, why not we try? See,
yeah.
But for example, you say about the money. How is that amount? For example, if we produce, let's say 50 minutes production, what will be the?
Well, it depends. Let me tell you. For example, first of all, we need to find what exactly do we want to do. It's not about making stories into cartoon. My dream is to make like every surah. It's tadabbur, it's pondering through a cartoon. For example, in Surah Luqman, there is an ayah that speaks about وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ, which is enjoying the good and forbid what is deplorable. Okay, so here, for example, I came up with a question which will be in next month in Turkey in the contest, that you are walking with one of your friends and he threw away the ice cream container in the street. What are you going to do? Tell me from Surah Luqman. Here comes from Surah Luqman, and then comes so here this can be a cartoon of two children walking, and one of them is throwing this, and then you are the second person, and here comes the question: are you going to throw your container as well? That's number one. Number two, the second answer is: are you going to just disregard it and ignore it, and you're not going to speak to him? Or three, are you going to speak to him and tell him that that's wrong? And here he chooses the ayah, وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ, and so on. So we can create a story from today's life, children playing with each other, speaking to each other, and then telling them how they benefited from the surah. This for me is more important than just creating a cartoon about Bilal, a cartoon about... People did that before. Understand me? And it's not necessary that children are going to grasp the message. I want children to grasp the message of the Quran, of the ayah of the Quran, how the ayat of the Quran can affect my life. How can I follow it? And so on.
I see. I see.
So, great. Great. Any other questions or comments by anyone? I think Anisa, would you like to say something?
Assalamu alaikum. I don't have a question, but as a gamer myself, that I just play many games all the time, and I just want to comment that earlier the program, it's quite engaging, and I think even someone my age, which is like basically a young adult now, but I think even at my age I would still like to try it out and just test the waters, because it's quite interactive. That's all I have
Can
to
I ask
say.
you, I'm sorry, because I don't know who's speaking, but what's your age?
I'm 21 right now.
21, okay, good. Which games did you try of our games?
I have not tried, just from my observation of the videos that you presented.
She's our recent graduate of our school, and
Wow.
and she is very, very supportive of our school's policies and stuff. So yeah, happy to have her here. Yeah, but she's a gamer herself. Actually, not just her. Teenagers today love to play games. Children, adolescents.
I know.
It's a gaming world right now.
Yes, subhanAllah. Yeah, that's true. But I wish that you play our games and tell us what you think. So mainly Save the Turtles is a game actually that I'm very proud of, and also Rescue of Two Princes, which is the very latest one. I didn't play it yet. Anyway, so please do that and come back to me, please.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, can I just comment? I've played Save the Turtles. It's actually very, very fun. I mean, it's fun, really. I think, you say the moment you take the trash and then it becomes turtles, and then it's very easy to play. It's fun. It's fun. I can understand how children and adolescents will like it. Yeah.
Save the Turtles actually is the most popular, actually, because also of the small map that you see in the corner, and then you start following in the bigger, map. You start following the directions to find the plastics and stuff. So yeah. But actually, it costed us $75,000. Like nearly the budget of all the other games. Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Ms. Sharifa, Ms. Sobia, do you have any? Okay, there is a question by Mr. Sultan. Sheikh, please describe the role of parents in this regard. Mr. Sultan, I think you joined maybe after the sharing by Sheikh Fadel Soliman. He actually did speak about the role of parents, and I remember the way that Sheikh Fadel Soliman mentioned was we shouldn't be corrupted fathers. Am I right? Corrupted fathers, where we don't spend time with our kids. Sheikh Fadel Soliman highlighted the importance of spending at least 1 to 2 hours with your children and
playing. Playing,
playing.
not preaching, and not advising.
Not
Playing like a kid. Yes.
Yes. And you mentioned the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that you are on the religion of your friends. So be the best friend. Be the best friend, so that through the friendship that your child loves you and loves your values, including Islam.
Yeah. But also in this workshop of 10 lectures to the parents, there is much more than that also. For example, in my generation, we didn't have atheists. Why? Because the generation of our parents were not religious. So we didn't see discrepancy. We didn't see that the reality of our parents is different from how they are looked at but our generation is more religious. We have beards, women are wearing hijab, and we deal with Islamic banks, and you understand me? So we go to pray in the mosque. So our children see that, but when our children see us doing wrong things, here's the problem. When they see the father lying or the mother lying, telling a lie to a friend or something, here is the problem. So the parents have to be one of the cases I have is a boy who is actually having atheistic mindset. He's atheist, and his problem is with his father. He loves his father so much, but he can't forget that when they were visiting Disneyland, his father saw that children under 11 have a discount. And the boy already reached 11 like 2 weeks before that. So he saw that his father lied when he was buying the tickets to get the discount of under 11. This was a shock for him. So we need to be very careful that we are put under the microscope.
Right.
Be very careful in how you speak, how you deal, everything. Children are actually looking at you and seeing if you really apply your religion or not, or your religion doesn't work. Things like that. Also, there are things, for example, when a child is learning how to walk in a very young age, 1 year, 2 years old, and then he stumbles and falls. So in order to distract him and he doesn't cry, we run and we hit the carpet and we say, bad carpet, you made Ahmed fall. And then he bumps his head into the table. So to distract him and make him not cry, we hit the table and say, bad table. You made Ahmed cry. You hit Ahmed. This causes atheism. Because like that, we are bringing children who are infallible. They don't do any mistakes. They don't do anything wrong. And if something is wrong, then definitely it's not their mistake. So when a child is 13 and 14-year-old who is abroad like that, and he starts feeling a lot of stress from exams and studies, he's not happy in his life because of the stress. He starts thinking, whose mistake is this? If he doesn't find, then probably it's Allah. And he starts having grudges against Allah. This is exactly against the teachings of the Quran. The Quran says, and by the way, this is dealt with in the first game. You see Ahmed telling the children, whenever you have a problem, look what wrong are you doing first. If you don't find, look around you. But first look in yourself, because you do mistakes as well. That's what Allah said. وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَيَعْفُو عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. Every calamity that befalls you is definitely one of the things that you did with your own hands. It's your own mistake. So why are we raising children who don't do mistakes? If they fall, then it's the carpet's problem. If they bump their head into the table, then it's the table's mistake. Come on. So these things we talk about with the parents as well in the workshop of the parents. So on the accounts, when you make an account on Bridges Foundation website, you will have access to the games, and you will have access also to the parents and teachers workshop.
Thank you. Okay, because in the interest of time, let's just go with 2 more questions. I know Brother Anwar has a question, and Brother Anwar is actually on the train currently in Cordoba, Spain.
Cordoba.
Yes, so there might be a signal issue, but nonetheless, Brother Anwar, you may unmute and you may ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Jazakallah khair. I hope I'll be able to give you my question or suggestion. Jazakallah khair for your wonderful presentation this afternoon. Alhamdulillah, I've been following your program from this is the first time I hear about you through the IIIT connection. I love the idea of what you just suggested, that from the Quran or Surah Al-Luqman, give a scenario and give the question. Okay, that's great. I've been working for Islamic Foundation, producing a lot of books for children. I've been a children editor and author of children books as well myself, alhamdulillah. So I like this to be explored in a more systematic way. I'll give you 2 or 3 examples that we have done, but not in the way. I love the way you have suggested. I think from the Surah Luqman suggestion and the scenario and question and answers, this brings the children to the Quran and to the reality. We've done something similar called A Drop of Mercy. A Drop of Mercy is a book that talk about rain. And in there is some question at the end where we try to link the children to each ayah of Quran related to rain. So some very minor effort has been done. So what I am suggesting in this, I hope to meet you when I visit Canada, inshallah.
I'm not in Canada. I'm in the UK. I'm in the UK, but I'm going to Canada in September in the convention.
Oh, okay. You're in UK. I'm in UK as well. I'm from Leicester.
Okay, good. Oh, really? Okay, then we have to meet then.
Inshallah. Yeah, inshallah. So
continue.
It's a great suggestion, and I think I'm working with quite a number of people. I'm not an educationist specialist like you or Brother Raza, my friend, but we need to work on something because quite a number of things.
We lost the signal. Huh?
Yeah, seems like we lost.
Yeah.
We lost
Okay, fine.
Brother
Inshallah, we have to meet. I'll meet the brother, inshallah, since he's in the UK. Inshallah, we have to meet and benefit, inshallah, from his suggestions, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. Any other questions from anyone? Or any comments, final comments?
I think Sheikh Fadel, it is really a very good opportunity. I think a lot of people now know about your program. Is that maybe we could find a way to, like, for example, IIIT has a lot of work ongoing that is more like high level. Maybe is there a way, for example, some of the concepts that they are trying to propagate in the in the academic field be like simplified and propagated to the children? I think some of the things that you are doing are really groundbreaking, and if there is a way to gather the resources like that brother Anwar was just saying, that they have done something similar but maybe not in the same way. If you could gather all these resources and let everybody like benefit from each other's common work, and at the same time
Inshallah.
improve each other's like reach, I think that would be really beneficial.
Inshallah. Is this IIIT that was founded by Dr. Ahmed Tutunji and
Yes.
Hisham Al-Tariq. Really? Oh, that's amazing. Well, I'm a student of IIIT. I learned my books here that I carry with me anywhere I go are of IIIT, actually. Oh my God, mashallah. As and Dr. Ahmed Tutunji is my mentor, actually. I'm in contact with him all the time.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
We actually have a Hong Kong branch.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, then we really have to do work together then. I thought that all that time just talking to the school and the school teachers. I don't understand. Yeah, subhanAllah. Okay,
SubhanAllah.
no. That's
SubhanAllah.
very important. Yeah.
Yep.
That's an honor for me, actually.
Okay, with this being said, I think we will call it an end here. And of course, if you guys have any questions, you can always direct them to Ms. Sharifa. Ms. Sharifa can pass to Sheikh Fadel Soliman, and then we can somehow share it to the entire group. But nonetheless, I really have to appreciate and thank the selfless time and devotion and commitment by Sheikh Fadel Soliman to give out his personal time to spend time with all of us here in Hong Kong and in Cordoba, I shouldn't forget as well. So thank you so much, Sheikh, and keep up with this good work. Atheism, homosexuality, all what may come, you've been doing a great job and continue doing it. We support your good work.
Alhamdulillah, barakallah fikum.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum.
Okay.
Thank
Take
you
care,
very much.
everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sisters. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.